Welcome to our premiere of Off the Beaten Path. Basically, we talk about subjects that you don't talk in the normal media. And what's funny about it is we've been getting a lot of requests about loose change and about some other different types of things on. You guys should be talking about this. So you know what? Because of you guys, we're going to be talking about this. So let's go ahead and start with our first topic, loose change about 9/11.
Yeah, Loose Change is a video. It's about an hour and 40-something minutes long, but it was actually one of the first videos that came out where somebody had put together a bunch of evidence that basically proves that 9/11 was not exactly caused by who they are trying to make us believe it was caused by. There's certain evidences in there that you just can't argue with.
You can't dispute.
Yeah, you can't dispute. When they do a planned demolition of a building, they do certain things to make it fall on itself. It implodes on itself. And for instance, you can look it up anywhere on Google, just type it in. But there's the I-beams on one of the towers that was there. When they showed the picture of it, it's cut at a sharp angle. At a sharp angle. And when they do planned demolitions, they get cords of thermite and they wrap it around the beam like that, to where when they detonate everything, the thermite cuts through the beam and then that causes that to fall and all that stuff. But there's pictures of these beams that are cut at sharp angles, and around the edge of the cut, it looks like, when you weld, how it's melted, the ripply look of melted steel, that's what it looks like around that. And that can only be caused by something hot enough to cut through the steel instantly, which is thermite.
But you could say, here's the thing, you can say that it was the plane did it.
Yeah, I've heard my uncle,
great guy,
by the way, but he's supposedly one of the most educated people
very
I know.
highly educated.
Who he claims that, when the plane hit the top, it somehow ignited all these propane tanks at the bottom and caused this high-tempered steel to melt. Well, in that video too, they say that the fuel for jets is basically kerosene. They said it's pretty much just like kerosene. It doesn't burn. It only goes to a certain level, and then it doesn't reach a higher temperature.
And it dissipates fast.
They said the plane itself could not. There's no physical, scientific way possible for that fuel to melt the steel.
Correct.
Propane, no, it would not instantly. Within an hour, it knocked the building down. No. I don't know about you guys, but whenever you use an outdoor grill with a propane flame, you have little tiny thin bars that last for months and months and years and years and years, and it doesn't go through them. So those propane tanks exploding at the bottom did not cover that. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
There's so many instances that I don't agree with. One of them is think about this, and do your own research. By the way, we know this is we're doing this because of popular demand, and they wanted to know about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Do your own research. But one thing strikes me so funny is the recorder box. What's the recorder box made of?
Oh yeah, supposedly indestructible titanium alloy, all this fancy stuff.
And all of a sudden, they're destroyed, but all of a sudden, neatly on a packed on all that rubble was a terrorist's passport.
Yeah, a paper terrorist, passport was sitting on top of all the rubble. Now let's go through the sequence here. Okay. They're saying they can't find the black box.
Yep.
A black box is a box that records all of the sounds and stuff that's going on. Records what's happening during a flight. And if the plane wrecks, they can go back and find that box and listen to it and see what happened. But they can't. They're saying that box was destroyed in this instance, but they found a terrorist's passport laying on top of the rubble. So in order for that to happen, that plane hit the building. That plane blew up on impact, you can see from the videos. Somehow, that passport was able to get blown out of through those flames that supposedly melted this super high-strength steel in an instant.
Real quick by chance, please.
Yeah, it supposedly melted this steel, but this passport was able to flutter down unharmed and land on top of the...
Let me see. I'm not going to use fire. This is just a test.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just your two fingers just ripped that apart. But yet this material was supposedly blown through these flames that are hot enough to melt steel and then fluttered down to the ground unharmed for somebody to conveniently find it. But yet they can't find the black box that would tell what really happened.
Yeah.
So that's another evidence that is...
It can't be disputed.
Yeah, it can't be disputed. I urge anybody with the safety of fire hose or water hose or a fire extinguisher, please get a piece of paper
Yeah.
and a lighter or some kind of flame and pass it through that flame and tell me and show me that it doesn't catch on fire.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
You know.
And honestly, put it on please. Well, I mean, parents, the only ones, adults, only do this. But put this on a barbecuer. Put this on a barbecuer, okay? And see how long it lasts.
Yeah. Let's see if it actually comes out alive and is able to just flutter down with no problems.
I don't know. And what gets me, what strikes me, if the government, if they want to release a Pentagon footage where they actually said a 747, a huge plane, the big wingspan, actually hit the Pentagon, please show us the evidence.
Yeah, show us the actual picture.
Instead of 5 seconds.
Yeah, instead of 5 seconds. And that 5 seconds consists of nothing, 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 and all of a sudden, an explosion. In no frame are you able to see a huge 747. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you look close enough, you can see like a little streak at the bottom, which I personally feel was a missile being shot at the Pentagon. But think about it. The Pentagon is not, it's tall, but it's not a humongous, super high skyscraper. So, compared to the height of the Pentagon, a 747 you would be able to see it. It's not like the building's so tall to where it would make this tiny little, this big plane look like a little dot. No. It would take up a big portion of that video. But you can never, in that video, you never see anything. And
actually, let's go ahead, and while we're talking, or we're not going to talk for a minute, let's go ahead and take a look at that video. Take a look at it. And you can see, look at this frame right here. You can actually see there's nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It goes from nothing to an explosion.
Look, see?
Now, if that really was a 747 that had blown it, crashed into the Pentagon, you would see a frame here of the Pentagon, or of the plane. It would be a couple of frames. That plane was not going light speed.
No, I'm looking at it. It's like, wow, this is not. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, there I see the little.
Yeah, nothing, explosion. There's no way for that to happen. And when you look at the front of the Pentagon, if you look at the hole that was made from a front view, there's the main hole, right, that goes all the way through to the other side. And but look at a 747. There's one engine on one side, there's another engine on the other side. If you watch Loose Change, they give you the specs on the engines. I can't remember exactly. I think it was each engine weighs 12 tons, is made out of titanium, this and that. Now, if there's another video that you can see somewhere online, I can't remember if they have.
There's so many videos.
Yeah, so many videos. Look up jet crash test or something. But there's videos where it shows the airliners being tested for their crash abilities and all that stuff. But they're going at the wall, and then it crumbles. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
So they're wanting us to believe that this super soft nose of the jet was able to penetrate the Pentagon
and barriers
and go through all these walls and what is they said, 8-inch, 10-inch thick cement walls, and there's a bunch of them or something. They expect us that soft nose was able to go through all that, but these 12-ton engines didn't even penetrate. It didn't even penetrate the building at all.
And if you look, and I urge you, do your own research. If you actually look in other news outlets, news media outlets, you'll find that there's no track marks whatsoever of a plane ever being there.
There was no, if the plane was that close to the ground, it would have caused some kind of damage. There was no damage caused.
None.
So,
you got to think for yourselves. There's so many instances. For instance, let's say at the time people couldn't actually, they are approved, and proper mechanics were wrong. They proved that cell towers at that time, people couldn't make cell phone calls.
Yeah. On the planes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so many things where they couldn't make cell phone calls, and that's another whole issue. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
What was a lot of the other issues?
Yeah, like the cell phone issue. It's funny because, not funny, but 2001 this supposedly happened, and they have all these recordings of these cell phone calls that were made from different passengers. But I think it was 2004, 2003. All of a sudden, I think